Welcome to the Sustainable Law Group sponsored IMPACTv Live She Business Pitch session moderated by President and Managing Director Becki Ueno, who will be facilitating the key visit pitch of Lift Your Business by founder Amy Mariscal, a woman-owned business located in Los Angeles. Please welcome Becki.
So am I live?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Becki Ueno. I am the president and managing attorney at Sustainable Law Group. We are a Los Angeles-based law firm. We specialize in working with social enterprises, nonprofit organizations, and green businesses on their transactional work. And today I'm very excited to be moderating this panel with Amy. And we've got a really interesting presentation coming up from her. I'm going to tell everybody a little bit about who she is and what she does, and then I'm going to hand the reins over to her, give her presentation, and then after that we'll do a dialogue and give some feedback, and we'll open up to questions from the audience as well. So Amy is the founder of Lift Your Business. She is passionate about helping idealists make money and be happy. She put this passion to work in Los Angeles as entrepreneur community, teaching business development, digital marketing, and sales in live courses through HowHack and other organizations that educate entrepreneurs, such as Cross-Pollinate and Startup Grind. She volunteers as a marketing mentor at the monthly Pay It Forward event. She also is an active member of Los Angeles Chamber of Commerce, the Hub LA, Social Enterprise Alliance Los Angeles, and the National Association of Women Business Owners. She's also a photographer, earning the distinction as one of 25 under 25 up-and-coming American photographers. And she's exhibited her work across the country, including New York, Las Vegas, and Los Angeles. So very impressive. So with that, I'd like for Amy to introduce herself and start her presentation.
Hi, everybody. I am the founder of Lift Your Business, and I'm excited to share with you over the next 10 or 15 minutes about how I see a world without poverty being created as entrepreneurs central to that role. And I'm going to start on, if you click on the slides and you click on slide number 1, I'm going to start with a quote from Muhammad Yunus. He is one of my favorite people in the whole wide world because he's the one who even made it imaginable for me. He made it so that I could imagine a world without poverty. And this is one of his quotes. All human beings are entrepreneurs. When we were in caves, we were self-employed, finding our food, feeding ourselves. That's where human history began. As civilization came, we suppressed it. We became labor because they stamped us, you are labor. We forgot that we are entrepreneurs. He is a Nobel Peace Prize winner for microfinance pioneer. And like I said, he inspired me to see a world without poverty as possible. So for the next 15 minutes or so, I want, in the spirit of his quote, I want you to, even if you don't consider yourself an entrepreneur or never even thought about being an entrepreneur, I want you to imagine yourself as an entrepreneur. Moving on to slide 2. As an entrepreneur, you've been through some treacherous swamps getting your business where it is today. You've spent tons of your own money, more than you probably ever imagined you would, and you've spent more time than you ever thought you would to make it profitable. But now you're here. Moving on to slide 3. You have a successful business built on your own perseverance, passion, and problem-solving prowess. But you're not exactly living the life of your dreams. In fact, you're overworked and you're underpaid. Moving on to slide 4, I have a stat for the average salary for a small business owner in Los Angeles. It's $88,443 a year. That's 3% over the national average, and it's not enough to make a home. It's not enough to buy a home in Los Angeles. And I'm not talking about solopreneurs. They actually make on average about half that amount. I'm talking about, employer-owned businesses. 99.7% of employer-owned firms are small businesses. In my eyes, this is a huge catastrophe. Also, moving on to slide 5, 55% of small business owners average more than 50 hours of work a week. So if you take the numbers there, we're not, small business owners are not exactly earning a super high hourly wage. The good news is that your dream of freedom is attainable. The hard part is that there's no out-of-the-box solution for, meeting the needs of your growing business. On slide 6, I show that there are more than 1,200 documented techniques to market a business. Like, as many as there are stars in the sky, there are techniques to market a business. All of them are good, and there's definitely a handful that are perfect for your business, your individual strengths, your team skills, your audience, your industry, all these things combined. But the problem is that none of these techniques or methods will continue to sustain a thriving business forever. Markets are going to change, you're going to change, your team is going to change. You need something that grows organically with you. You can patch a bunch of tactics together, but it's hard to make systems without looking at the big picture. It takes a lot longer, and it takes a lot more resources, as probably all entrepreneurs know. So in order to escape those cycles of inconsistency and accomplish your dreams of freedom, you, as the leader of your business, need a big picture perspective so that you can create systems to grow with you and your company. Moving on to slide 7, Lift Your Business helps small business owners with big visions see their own sales and marketing landscape and improve their revenue growth systems. On slide 8, I have a very rough picture of what I mean by seeing the big picture. I'm working on an infographic for this right now, but it basically takes the lead generation, your lead generation system, and your sales conversion system, and puts it all into perspective along with those higher level things like your purpose and your values and your vision, and makes it into a roadmap so that you can see easily where are the big holes, what areas you need to improve, all these exciting things for growing your revenues. So the way that I have evolved to share this with small business owners is that I have developed a game, and the game is called Profitlandia. So on slide 9, you can see Profitlandia must be played as a group. So it can either be played with your team or with a group of fellow business owners, kind of like a mastermind group. And Lift Your Business co-hosts these live events in Los Angeles quarterly. And then we're currently producing an online kit that'll walk you and your team through playing it, so you can play it with your team. So business owners can purchase the online version for $43, or they can purchase a ticket to an event for $43, and that also includes the online version. Obviously, the best deal is to go to an event. After that, we have, for people who are more serious, business owners who are more serious about actually, committing to a strategy, but maybe they're not sold on, committing quite yet, we have a Profit Now package. This is basically the streamlined way to give business owners the most results in the least amount of time. We focus very heavily on the sales process with the Profit Now package because that's generally where we can make the biggest impact with the least amount of resources. So this package we sell for $293. And then the next one is for business owners who are totally serious about growing their sales and marketing systems. They're ready to commit, they're ready to do the work that it takes to start measuring the data, to improve the pieces of the system, all that stuff. But maybe they don't have a marketing person on their team, maybe they don't have all the graphic designers and copywriters and all these things that you need to kind of put these pieces together. So we also provide, if needed, we provide those pieces as well in kind of your marketing department in a box. So those are kind of the outlines of our basic programs that we offer to our clients. And then we also, on slide 12, you can, happiness is also a big part of it, right? So you're growing your revenue, but nobody really cares about money, right? They care about the things that money can get. So for me, happiness is just as important as growing your revenues because the revenues is the vehicle for happiness. And what I mean by happiness are basically pleasure, flow, and meaning. So there's this kind of like rock star happiness, which is like in the moment, right? This pleasure. Whatever, if you're eating a piece of cake, you're very happy the moment you're eating it, and then maybe an hour you might even regret eating too much cake. Flow is kind of the next higher level up of happiness. So with flow, you are meeting your skill level and the challenge level are kind of at this perfect slope heading up, and what you're doing is consistently increasing in challenge so that you're consistently kind of fighting, you're consistently on that edge and in that moment of flow. That's what people will say when they forget time, when they nothing else matters, and when time doesn't even exist anymore. That's flow, and that's like longer lasting happiness. That's medium long lasting happiness. And then the longest lasting happiness is meaning, living a meaningful life, doing meaningful things, creating a legacy. And this is, I think, the easiest type of happiness for entrepreneurs to grasp onto, and it's also like I said, it's the longest lasting type of happiness. So throughout all the programs, all the language that we use to describe everything, that's all kind of created with this is based on positive psychology. So, created with positive psychology in mind so that we're caring both about the revenues and the happiness of entrepreneurs. So, moving on to slide 13, it's been really important to me to develop a business that is scalable. Doing this with a service-based business is very difficult. But the next step of my business is to build an apprenticeship program that will make this entire thing scalable. Now, clearly the game is something that, like I said, I want every entrepreneur in the world to know. But I also want entrepreneurs to be able to get the one-on-one help that they need, especially small business owners who are in this kind of weird place. They can't afford what big enterprises can afford. And they're definitely way past, a startup. So this is totally catered to small business owners. And I'm not going to go into the details of the apprenticeship program now because we don't have enough time, but it plays into this entire kind of ecosystem that I see happening for entrepreneurs. And then moving on to slide 14. I have about at least five reasons for doing everything that I do. One of my friends and clients told me recently that I'm the most strategic person she knows, and I think that's probably true. So the kind of my big ultimate purpose here is that the reason that I serve small business owners is because they are in a pivotal place to affect thousands of people in their community. And I'm talking small business owners who are ready to scale, small business owners with big visions. They affect their families, they affect their team members, their families of the team members, their investors, the community in which the business is located, the audiences that they serve. Thousands and thousands of people are affected by business owners. On slide 15, you can see some really impressive stats about, how small business owners carry the economy. And I believe that if we as a community help business owners master their prosperity and happiness, then most of our community's biggest problems will get solved in the process. On slide 16, it's kind of a mind map of the biggest problems that we face in the community of Los Angeles. And I would love to create, I'm doing my part to create a thriving middle class in Los Angeles and reduce poverty. I know, it's big, and that's why I'm in LA, because I firmly believe that what happens in Los Angeles gets spread throughout the world. So the ultimate dream is to gather thousands of communities together to join us on this adventure and replicate this success.
Okay, I think I might have managed to just put myself back on. Sorry. Can you hear me, Amy?
I can hear you.
All right. I'm not very good with technical stuff, and my technical team left me. So, well, thank you very much, Amy. Great presentation. Very interesting. I was taking some good notes here, and I want to start out with talking a little bit about your mission, from what I can see, is really to eradicate poverty. And so your business model is geared towards helping people on a one-on-one, business-to-business basis to help alleviate that problem. But I am curious, based upon that purpose, what your target market is. So what kinds of small businesses are you ideally looking to assist and help alleviate poverty through your work with them?
So basically, there's not a specific industry or I don't do like local businesses or, any particular kind, but the thing that ties it together are really very small businesses who've, gone through the hard part at the startup part, and they've got a proven concept, they've got working, they've got sales coming in, and they want to scale it higher, but they don't have a marketing or a salesperson on their team to help, to help them do that. They don't know how to do it themselves, basically.
Okay. So would you say maybe it's a category of business owners who at least meet that average revenue that you quoted earlier, around $88,000 a year as a starting point, and then moving up from there?
Yeah, exactly. And I would say the ultimate purpose is to, help the middle class get bigger, and then you kind of, with the middle class getting bigger, helping the people in poverty, lifting up those people as well. So creating this entire ecosystem so that everybody is helping each other, lifting each other up, basically.
Yeah, that's great. So what I would just recommend in your pitch is defining more clearly who those ideal clients are and how they do connect to your primary purpose. And I'm also curious, when you are talking to a prospective client, do you talk about this as part of your purpose, or is that something that kind of comes out as the relationship deepens? Is it part of your pitch to them?
Yeah, it's not part of my pitch to them at all. Right now it's really, I guess that's kind of something I've been struggling with in terms of my messaging is kind of how to present that in a way that doesn't make it about that to my potential clients. Because it is really confusing when I start talking about, alleviating poverty, but I'm not serving people in poverty right now, though the apprenticeship program does go there. So pretty quickly I will be, but.
I think that's really interesting, and in my practice with Sustainable Law Group, we certainly have social and environmental missions, and we're a certified B Corp, and although, on a client-by-client basis, we're not necessarily working directly towards each of those purposes with every single matter. I mean, it might be something like an employment agreement, and it's hard to kind of connect the dots as far as how that relates to our purpose. But I do also try to find an opportunity in the initial conversations with clients to tell them about our broader purpose, because I think it helps you connect with the client on a more deeper level. So you have to do it with, a little bit of finesse. You don't want them to think that you're on your own war path that has nothing to do with helping them directly, right? But I found that it definitely helps facilitate a deeper connection with the client. So I would not be afraid to talk about what your passion is, and part of the reason why you started your company. So then I'm going to move on to questions about where I see your primary revenue sources are, and it's something that you're clearly helping your clients develop too. So I saw that you have a game, you have a Profit Now package, which is priced low for some initial needs for smaller businesses. You have a marketing department in a box, which sounds like it would be a monthly, ongoing retainer kind of relationship with the client. And the infinite profit plan, which it sounds like that's part of that, but I was curious to know a little bit more about the distinction between those two areas. And also, what is your overall mix? What percentage of your revenue would you like to be hitting these different areas of profit generating, or revenue generating program?
Good question. Okay, so starting with the kind of the difference between the Infinite Revenue Growth Plan and then the Marketing Department in a Box. Those two can be sold separately. Basically, the Infinite Revenue Growth Plan is the precursor to the Marketing Department in a Box. Because we're not going to be able to, that's kind of the execution part of it, is the Marketing Department in a Box. So we're not going to be able to execute unless we have a really good, solid plan. We have that whole big picture mapped out. We know where the biggest holes are. We've started to address those. We can see what the best traffic sources are for you, and on and on and on down that whole path. Does that answer that part of the question?
Yeah, that's really helpful. Thank you. Yeah.
And then the percentage of what would come from where, that is changing right now because the revenue growth game is is very new. So that's something that I think that's really going to change it up quite a bit. That is something that I can sell infinitely. So to be honest, I haven't thought exactly what the ideal of that is in the whole mix of everything, but really it could be the large majority. That could be the large majority of the profits. Especially because the service part, that is definitely going to be the harder part. Creating a scalable service-based business. I don't have any. I know it's going to be hard, and I know there's going to be a lot of problems and a lot of working out to do. So I'm willing to take it slow and work through the kinks there. But right now, definitely the Marketing Department in a Box, that's the moneymaker. And like you said, that's one-on-one, that's the longer term project. And both the Profit Now package and the Infinite Revenue Growth Plan are both they're like on the edge of being loss leaders. So we don't really make a ton of money on those, but it is kind of the funnel, right? So those packages lead into the bigger, longer term clients.
Yeah, that makes sense. So do you have, with your Marketing Department in a Box, do you already have your team in place ready for somebody to come in and hire you for that service? You have the web developers and the designers and all of the different components that would ultimately go into that?
Yeah, I have a couple of clients right now that are going through that program, and an outsourced team that I use for that. But that is where the apprenticeship program is going to come in really key, because consistently finding talented copywriters, graphic designers, project managers, assistants, all these things that's one of the biggest problems for small businesses in general. So that's why I designed it as this. I'm actually using a network marketing model with it, so kind of like Mary Kay. So the apprentices become salespeople for the company as they're learning their own specific craft, whatever it is, and building up their own business. So they're learning to build a business in kind of an incubated situation where they can also be making money with Lift Your Business.
Oh, that's interesting. I really like that, and I think that you could certainly use the people that would be employed essentially by you to fulfill these needs for the clients, to also be trained in that art of rainmaking and the art of also getting the word out about the company and building in really strong incentives, whether it's through commission or some sort of referral fee. I think is really going to incentivize your team, and I think that that's really the component that If your ultimate goal is to have a set of clients that are doing the marketing department in a box on a monthly basis, to just have that really solid before you even start marketing heavily with your other sort of loss leader products, because you're going to need to funnel them right away or as soon as possible into that marketing in a box program. And so that's where I, would definitely focus my efforts as much as possible, building that team. Some of the things that I've done to build my team is that I've created a very detail-oriented agreement for my team that sets out not only the basics of how everybody gets paid and all of that kind of thing, but what my expectations are for them and what I see as somebody who would be qualified to work with our company. So I would spend some time really delving into, for those team members, what your expectations are, and as you're interviewing people in those different areas, really paying attention to whether or not they fit your not only your needs, but your ethos and what you would want to have on your team long term. And looking for those qualities of somebody who's good at rainmaking and good at marketing themselves. That's going to save you a lot of heartache to have people who are already geared towards that kind of model. So I would say, once you've got that, then I would build back in these other components that help you bring in the client base. That's great. Well, I'm getting the cue that we're about finished here. So I'm wondering if you have any other specific questions for me, and then also if anybody in the audience has any questions for Amy or I, we probably have time for one or two.
Let me kind of look at all the slides here and see. I guess the main thing I'm wondering right now is the names of the different, like Profitlandia and the Profit Now package and the Infinite Profit Plan. As you can tell, I'm a little bit of in flux. I'm actually rebranding everything right now, so I'm a little bit in flux with all these names. So I am wondering, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I like them. I think that they're hip and catchy. I definitely like the marketing department in the box. I like that a lot. And the Profit Now package, I think, really does get at that sort of, first level need that, a company would start with. So I like that. I'm not sure whether Infinite Profit Plan captures what that all entails. So you might need a little bit more of a tagline there to hone in on what that actually would be providing to your clients. But no, I like them, and they're playful and they're fun, just like you are. So I think, bringing your personality into, how you're marketing yourself is really key for your success too.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, Amy. Really great to participate in this with you, and thank you to the audience for joining in on our conversation. I hope you found it interesting and helpful for your business as well. Thanks so much.
All right, bye.